And we're on, alright. Okay, so welcome, I'm gonna do my little intro, I don't have that many years left. Welcome to the town board work session of Wednesday, November sixth, 2019. Start off with congratulations to our supervisor-elect Ivy Poole and Jeremy Zaland, another 4 years on the council, congratulations. Thank you. Speech?
You have to clap, I mean, you cannot clap at this point.
I just don't want you to remember that I didn't clap.
Okay.
Exactly, right. Alright, first thing on our agenda, let's go into Chapel Crossing. So, we have on the agenda an extension for the TCOs?
Right. It's for the retail uses, this has something to do with the townhomes, that's the subject of a separate public hearing later this month. So this has to do with the temporary CO that was issued for the retail uses. Initially, this happened back in December with respect to Whole Foods, and then I think February for Lifetime.
Three times.
Right. And the reason for that was that the approvals had required SG to finish the improvements to 117, both north and south, and at the time, we only had one dedicated turn lane, I think that was the one going south. So the other improvements have been slowly coming online, but they are not quite done. And the resolution that the board's being asked to consider would be to extend the deadline for the issuance or renewal or extension of the TCO for the retail uses. And the outside date would now become February 29, 2020.
As opposed to the twelve.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
It's not completely related to that, but the, have you had any success with DOT about putting those don't block the box things back in front of Chappaqua Crossing
denied it.
entrance and in front of Annandale?
Right, so they denied it.
Why?
I don't know.
Because of the DOT.
And then the town also made the request, I think it was either through Sabrina and also the
Chief.
police
The
chief.
chief, yeah.
And then it was denied again, I believe. So we were just talking about this at the planning board
Yeah, and I have a petition of a lot of families that have to
one
bring
of
it
the
in.
members of the planning board, said, hey, maybe we can try this a fourth time. So,
So Jill, I think you're gonna have to push from your end, they turned us down on it.
And Jill, I'll give you that petition, it's just people keep coming to sign it, so
Okay.
I'll wait till the end of
Yeah.
the week, I'll give it to you
Happy
before.
And then,
and I don't know if you want us to provide a little bit of color of, where things
Yeah,
are
with the
with
road.
regard to the improvements. So, the improvements are completed, but for the activation of the signal, which is actually in the DOT's hands, we're waiting for them, for the controller. We hope to have that by the end of the week, but physically the improvements are finished. So we hope that all of the other things that are left will be completed by the end of the year that are not traffic-related improvements and other things. But just to be on the safe side, we're looking for that February 29th date.
to remind you, as we went through this very painful TCO process, where we ultimately in the third step of the TCOs, which essentially allowed us to open the balance of the shopping center, we had agreed to be done, that we would have completed all the physical work, and then it was left, that only thing that would be remaining open was administrative. And I started to write you this email, how the software that wasn't in was really administrative, but apparently it's within a couple of days, but it's the DOT.
Right. And but for that controller and the signal
We-
being operational, it is only administrative work, so that's where things are.
Yeah,
And where does the Annandale path fall into that?
that's on the toll, that's part of the toll approval process.
No, it wasn't. It was part of the,
We have,
it wasn't.
my last recollection of that was that we did explore that. There was a meeting out on site. I think that there were some homeowners that were over there.
Yeah,
I
they,
think subsequent has been-
subsequent, that has changed.
Yeah,
The
problem-
drawings were not maybe completely correct, and we've met with the homeowners, and they're actually, it needs to be staked out, and they're actually willing to go ahead with it.
So I think what my ask on that is, that my concern on that issue is that we had to navigate with lots of private citizens and land
Yeah,
and
it's
things.
just one private citizen here.
A month ago, we were told that it died. Recently, we heard that it came back. We there's no way we're gonna solve that through, in this little CO process at the shopping center. We'd like to be able to deal with that as we work through the toll process, because what happens is, when we can't solve one of these things that are kind of somewhat out of our control, we constantly have to come back and ask for extensions and go through a lot of this hullabaloo that we've all been.
Problem is toll is gonna take at a minimum of a year before everything's done. So
Not CO,
I don't
it could
want
be
that
part
He's
of-
to,
talking about the approval of the other approvals.
Just, it's part of the toll, it's not their CO that has to be done, but you could just add it as part of the toll approval process.
We have things to
I've
approve,
already
we have
been
things
on
to
an
approve.
approval process though, I don't really.
No,
We're in our
no,
26th
Sure,
month
it's
of
part
the
of the
toll
mitigation we put
project.
in.
Right,
you're
Right.
saying,
Right.
you're saying your Lifetime and Whole Foods and Pet Value and Chase need to close until we get this
No,
passed?
that's ridiculous, I'm not saying
talking
that,
about
I'm
two different
saying
things
that
here.
it's,
No,
I'm
no,
just
I know
saying
that.
where
No,
are we
I mean,
putting
Lisa's
that, I don't
asking
want
why
that
are
to
we,
fall
why are
off.
we moving the goalposts?
I don't want that to
So we had
fall
had
off.
that as a
Exactly.
condition for the temporary certificate of occupancy, and now we're being told that it's shifting to the toll
Well, no,
these
we were,
negotiations. So the
we
question
were,
is why?
we followed through, we were told that the neighbors were not interested in engaging, so we stopped. Now we're being told they are interested in engaging, my point, Ivy, is exactly that.
Okay.
So if you guys deliver, if you can deliver all the neighbors, then we'll go ahead and put the path in. But to have that negotiation, part of the timing associated with us trying to get a CO on this site and get these subdivisions done, it'll get in the way. The intent is still there, we'll honor our commitments, it's just when these things creep back in to these approval processes, it gets really complicated.
Well, it never creeped out, I mean, cause you guys asked us that to relieve you from that requirement, and we said, well, wait, cause we think that they are interested, and they are. So I have no problem granting the temporary CO again, and if we're gonna push it back to February, I still want this tied to the final CO as opposed to
We think we can get our
putting it with
finals,
Toll Brothers.
so Lisa, we think we can get our final CO for the shopping center by the end of the year. We've been meeting weekly with Bob Cioli, we're doing the easements, all the rest of this stuff. Politely, and you know how long I've known you, we will not get this sorted out with your neighbors by the end of the year. If we were to get it it just won't happen, even if everyone said they wanted it
Yeah.
won't happen. And if we're obligated to build a path, we'll build it. If the neighbors will give us their land or work out whatever we need to do, we'll do it. I just don't wanna have a gun to my head that it has to be done in a time frame where I can't control, where it interferes with other issues, so I don't know how to be any, I don't know if I'm being clear, but
No, you're clear, I get it.
if you think, we did many hearings to get TCOs.
No,
The
I'm
reason we
with
did
you,
that
I
is
know.
because the DOT wouldn't let us do something that they gave us permit to do a million years ago.
Right,
So this
no,
is
no,
why
I know.
it just keeps going.
Believe me, I was around for it.
And there's a lot
But
of
I just don't want it to fall off, and I'm worried
Or
that
tied
if you're
here.
tying it to toll, that it's gonna get
Well,
lost.
first of all, you won't let me forget.
No.
Secondly, I'm not going anywhere, but I would just respectfully like it to be not part of our CO, because I'm trying to get that darn CO. There's a lot of things involved with the CO, with our financing and our interest rates and all sorts of other things.
Felix, can you just a little clarity, when it says here administratively, again, you were mentioning some things, what do they actually need to be done administratively?
You mean what's left, what's left?
Administrative, because it says there's nothing in terms of road construction, but administratively.
I think
Oh,
the-
so there's like all sorts of paperwork that needs to be involved in connection with closing out the permit and all of those other things.
So this is solely a paperwork issue, or for lack of a better term?
And
Ultimately.
pedestrian signal.
Right.
Oh, pedestrian signal, so,
But that's not administrative.
no, that's not administrative.
No.
So-
That's what
The
we're,
signals
that's what
are
we're
there.
stuck with. So
So
signals
the
are
point
there.
is that
They're just not activated,
that work is
right?
there, it's gotta be activated, that's not within our control, that's within the DOT's control. We're hoping that that'll happen in the next couple of days, and then
Is that realistic?
What are you guys doing to try to get DOT to move more quickly on that? Because I feel like you're coming in here and you're asking us to push, which certainly we can do and we should do because we wanna protect our residents
Dave has
as they
been
cross the
speaking
street
with
there,
them.
but
on a regular basis.
We talk to the DOT like every day,
So,
ask, Jill knows.
yeah, so in all fairness, we had offered to assist them, I offered, chief of police to take and call up. They were, Summit Greenfield was understandably concerned about appearing too heavy-handed with DOT and going over people's heads instead of letting the process play out. Is that accurate?
Dave was here for the earlier meeting,
Well,
he's on the
that's what-
front lines
yeah.
with the tier.
Dave didn't want to
He-
immediately.
He is hoping by the end of the
Yeah.
week that it will be operational.
If not, I'm happy to take it.
He gets a lot of face-to-face gruff from the DOT when we have to bring in lobbyists and things. If we don't bring in lobbyists, we can't get somebody to sign something. If that person signs something, guy 5 runs down the line, gets yelled at. He sees us in the field, he's looking for payback. I don't mean to be glib, but that's
So
kind
in
of.
good faith, you think operational within roughly a week?
We've been finished out there we've been finished with our work out there for,
Yeah,
other
a
than the
while.
striping, which occurred this weekend,
Right.
we've been finished for a long, at least 3-4 weeks. 3 weeks?
Yeah, and they were waiting for the generator and everything.
It's been. I ask Dave this every day, he says tomorrow.
Yeah.
What about, not the roads, but the tree plantings? Weren't there
So
issues with all
we,
that?
the only area that needs landscape work
Carve out,
is
make
where,
sure that-
which was our staging area for the
Shorter-
intersection.
Shorter timeframe.
So that is all,
Crossing.
that's a little banged up, and we're now planting all that in there, there's a neighbor who's been upset about that, Mr. Frankel.
Yeah,
And we actually talked about that at length with Bob Cioli, so I think that's all being fixed. Mr. Frankel has asked us to triple the amount of planting, but we're putting in there whatever we were required to. We lost a couple of trees throughout this process and they're being replaced.
So what I just asked Ed Felix is if there was a way to, for lack of a better term, carve out just the crossing, if we think it's gonna be done in a week and it is in fact done in a week, that's great. But maybe have you, if it's not done within a couple of weeks, by the end of the month, to come back and visit us to figure out
Well,
the next, because I have no objection to the, listen, we all want it to move forward. So,
it just,
but that's an important piece, so.
The trail, I was thinking that the trail, I understand the concern about tying that to what is a much bigger and slower moving ship, the residential. And I also understand that the retail, if you can get the final CO by the end of December, you don't want the trail to be something that holds that up. But maybe there's some compromise that would have you continue to be diligent with respect to the trail, have you come back and report to the board in 30 days, 60 days. What timeframe?
By December, maybe by December first.
Right, and give us an update as to where you are.
well, what, Lisa, what's the facts? Is the neighbor now
So-
wants to, what, cause I don't,
so I walked it with Bob Cioli and Jill, and we figured out where the DOT right-of-way ended, and then where we could put the path, which was not quite as generous as the initial drawing, so it was not actually taking land from any neighbor except one, and it was a very small amount. We met with that neighbor.
what's the name?
But you also have to
Rose.
understand that when we started looking at this.
No, I know.
Mazer was in touch with the DOT won't allow it in the DOT
It's not gonna be in the
Right,
DOT
right.
right away. That's why, and then I think Bob might have spoken with Dave, we need to get, and it's already was done on one of the plans.
On Mazer's
on
traffic
Yeah,
plans.
Mazer's traffic plans, to just get them to stake out where the DOT right of way ends.
We're doing it on private property, not in the DOT right away.
Yeah, it's
So
all
we
gonna be on
understand.
private
So you
property,
need us to stake out
just where the DOT right of way,
ends, and then this neighbor whose name is
Rose.
Mr. Rose is willing to give
A
a
small
land
piece
or
of
whatever it
property.
is.
For like, yeah, just kind of doing a couple tree plantings and fixing a
Can
steps.
you get that in writing from Mr. Rose?
Well, they wanna see it one more time once those stakes
So
are
we
in,
put the stakes in, and but I'm
but yeah,
co-opting this
yeah,
chore.
yeah,
If Mr. Rose puts in writing what he's willing to do, it seems like it might narrow the chore a little bit. We could certainly do the staking. What I'm fearful of is getting involved with negotiation. We have had a less than pleasant experience with the gentleman on the corner, and it
we
still
don't have
goes
to
on.
go, yeah, we don't have to touch his property, we're on the other side of the
I'm
fence.
using that as an example.
Yeah, no, it's only one person we looked, and we went to the house last week again.
Yes.
And they were willing, we staked out where we think the land we would have to take from them, and they were.
So I'll get Dave to talk about the staking, and I'll communicate with email by Jill relative to that.
Okay.
But Jeremy, I'd like us, let's do that as ladies and gentlemen and not tie it to some date or another
No,
period
I
before
just
us.
think that you'll just assure us that we can pick a date, you'll come back in or let us know by a particular date, one way or another.
I'm-
There's no reason to schlep in here to waste your time.
No, but I'm here for the
December
next-
15th?
I'm here, I don't know what the date is because I
Or just
don't
give us an update, just so we know that it's moving forward, even if there is no update, we know that it's progressing.
So I'll get it staked out in the next couple of weeks or something. If you can get Mr. Rose's commitment on a piece of paper, then I can
Okay.
answer your question.
Okay, that's fair,
Okay.
that's fine.
No problem.
Yeah, and I can work out with Nick, you know, Nick and I had talked about this a little bit, you know, just in that probably the most appropriate way to do it is for those homeowners to do an easement
Yes.
and, you know, in favor of the town or in favor of the public to have that there.
Yes.
Whatever it is, maybe we can just circle back by December 15th, I don't know if that's an arbitrary date, to say, alright, this is where we are.
Well, apparently we learned tonight that we're gonna be back in front of you with the planning board to go through those petition items one more time in yet another joint meeting
Yes.
on the 19th.
19.
I thought the
On the 19th.
November 19th was the email I just got from Sabrina.
So they've decided they wanna go back and do it together again, so I'll give you an update on where we are with the stakes by then.
Okay,
Alright, done,
well, that's not giving you that much time.
alright.
No, but at least I can tell you that the staking's done or will be done tomorrow, I have to
Yeah,
trust
yeah,
you.
yeah, okay.
Alright, anyone? Bueller?
So that would be a motion to resolve that the outside date
Yeah.
for the issuance, renewal, or extension of the TCOs for the retail uses at Chappaqua Crossing be further extended to February 29, 2020.
So moved.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Okay, thanks.
We have to at least have some fun.
See you in a couple of weeks.
We're making that easy for you.
We'll miss you, Rob.
Thank you.
So how many
Thank
years you
you.
been doing this?
6.
Don't you feel like you should stick around to see the whole damn thing finished? Why do I have to stick?
Which thing are you speaking about?
I'm speaking
Our streetscape is
euphemistically,
basically
the
done. Oh.
thing over there that I blindly bought in 2004, saying this'll be fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody's got different definitions.
Is that a violin I hear playing?
They will miss you, Robert, they will
David
miss you,
Restivo,
Robert.
wait, very good.
What?
David Restivo playing in the background,
Oh.
no?
Yeah. Alright, next.
Okay, so, yeah, so we've got our donation for the Performing Arts Center, the basketball court bid, snow removal bids. We actually got back, one bid today, we're doing our due diligence on it, and we will present it to the board next week.
So we're scratching that.
Yeah, we're not
For now.
ready for it yet. Request to use town hall property, this was the UJA, was doing a clothing drive and wanted to know if they could, put a bin, in the lobby downstairs. Change orders 33 and 34, which is the railing. So, we're just looking for, approval of the change order for the railing at Whispering Pines and Boswell's field office where that, new set of steps was built. We need railings there, as much as Beth does a fabulous job with all of her plants.
really expensive.
Yeah, the railings are very expensive.
I thought we were getting
Are
rid
they made out of gold?
Yeah, basically,
They're just gold plated.
yeah, it certainly seems that way, it's, yeah,
Made out of taxpayers' tears.
yeah. Yep,
Seriously, why are they so expensive?
Why are they so expensive?
The stairs, they're not like a big set of stairs.
no, they aren't, but it has to do with the number of spindles that are coming through.
Is this a we chose a very beautiful design issue, or is this
We definitely upgraded from the silver to black.
Yeah, but that shouldn't.
Yeah, the spin, because of the spindles, the size that they have to be close together so that nobody puts their head through it.
But
Remember
did
you
we,
looked at
we
that?
looked at different, I mean, I
This is
guarantee I
what's-
could find them online for a lot cheaper.
God, Amazon Prime.
Get it free tomorrow, delivery.
In China?
So it's, the railings are very expensive, it's a hugely expensive part of the project.
And it's a furnish and install price, right, so it's both the installation and the
God, I
part.
should hope so.
It also comes back and cleans itself every 6 months, just so it looks shiny, nice and clean.
Better.
Okay.
Yeah, yikes. However, Bank of America, we're only putting back the stainless steel handrail, which is significantly cheaper, because that's what was there. New York State snow and ice, contracts, they'll be on for next time, Jerry just wants to remove them, review them before we do anything further. Blazer Arboretum, we got a bid back for, yeah, the plantings. Yeah, from Dennis, we're actually gonna end up with ASCAP, landscape and construction at $35,000. They're able to meet all the insurance requirements.
And this is coming out of the trusts
Yes.
that we have for Glacier.
Yes, and those are dedicated monies that can only be used on that parcel.
I noticed that they did put in an extension of the boardwalk,
Yes,
and I would love it if they put it in just a
a
little
little
further.
further, work on that.
It still doesn't get you through the,
Marsh,
yeah. You still step off of it into a big
mud.
muddy.
Okay. For the frames, let's see.
Okay.
Okay, alright, so we've got our resolutions.
I move to approve the following payment of claims, in the amount of $603,538.03, listed on the summary pre-check writing report and detailed voucher report, each prepared on November 6, 2019. Checks will be issued and mailed to each claimant, listed on Thursday, November 7th, 2019.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. I move to reappoint the following members to the Newcastle Arts and Cultural Committee for a 2-year term effective retroactively from October 14th of this year through October 13th, 2021. Lisa Katz, Chair. David Restivo, Jeff Kudik, Roberta Lasky, pardon me, I apologize, and Arden Katz.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, yeah, that's why you hesitated.
Well, we still got a majority, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, I move to set a public hearing regarding the town of Newcastle 2020 budget for Tuesday, December 3rd of the year of our supervisor 2019 at 7 p.m. in the Assembly Room at Town Hall located 200 South Greeley Avenue in the great town of Newcastle, New York.
Second.
All in favor?
Should we start with, Arden? Okay.
What?
Nothing, just asking about Arden.
I move to accept the donation of a piano from Brad and Debbie Jacobs to be placed at the Chappaqua Performing Arts Center.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I move to accept a donation from William Dunham Jr. of a print of Horace Greeley to display in Town Hall.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
I move to approve the following modifications with regard to the Town Hall basketball court playground improvement project. Numbers set forth in the resolution based on current construction, engineering, inspection figures provided by the town engineer. Authorize the increase of the project budget from $584,000, which was previously approved in January of 2018, to $1.2 million to be funded as filed, as set forth in the resolution. And I authorize awarding the bid for construction of the playground basketball court to DeRosa Sports Construction Inc. in Mamaroneck, New York, the lowest responsible bidder, in the amount of $1,103,126, broken down as set forth in the resolution.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I would say that we actually increased the contingency to 15% here, where normally it's 10%, and that contingency is $143,886, so adding an extra protection, for lack of a better term.
I move to authorize the use of town hall as a collection point for the UJA Federation Packed with Love Children's Clothing Drive through November 17th of 2019.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I move to approve a change order number 33 for railing at Whispering Pines, 83 South Greeley Avenue, and Boswell's field office in the amount of $17,922.62.
All in favor?
I move to approve the change order 34 for stainless steel railing at Bank of America, the amount of $2,876.61.
Normal, second?
All in favor?
Aye.
I move to adopt the following resolution, whereas on October 16th this year, the town issued a bid request seeking bids for tree planting and tree care planting area maintenance in the Glazer Preserve. Whereas the town received multiple bids as reflected therein, whereas the lowest bidder, Tapias Landscaping, failed to meet the town's insurance policy requirements. Therefore be resolved that the town board hereby award the bid for the town Glazer Preserve Fall 2019 tree planting and tree care planting area maintenance to the next lowest responsible bidder, ASCAP Landscaping and Construction, for the amount of $34,000, and be further resolved, the town board hereby authorizes and empowers the town administrator and the PWS environmental coordinator to take all action necessary to implement the purpose of said resolution.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
And I'll take us home. I move to authorize the refund of street opening permits 2016 0011 and 2016 0012, each in the amount of $500 to Tavo Holdings LLC.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. The extension of the Boswell contract.
I move to have Lisa do that.
Thanks. That one,
It's the second extension.
yeah.
Take us home.
Oh, yeah, I have that one right here. Okay. Whereas our agreement with Boswell has expired, now therefore, the town and consultant agreed that the agreement and the first extension of agreement for professional consulting services shall be extended as follows. One, for the continued satisfactory performance of services by consultant to the town on the project starting November 2nd, 2019, the second extension term. The town shall pay consultant, which is Boswell, in accordance with the specified personnel schedule and rates of compensation set forth in Exhibit A to the resolution, up to a total amount that shall not exceed $54,400.
61, I'm sorry.
Is that the wrong one?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, yeah, $61,600. And two, the extended services which consultant will be compensated during the second extension term shall not include any work, services, and or expenses within or relating to the scope of work defined in Article 1 of the agreement, which was the original scope. Consultant's compensation for satisfactory performance of the original scope work shall be governed by the provisions of Section 4.1 of the agreement. 3, any services provided by consultant to the town for the project beyond the total hours listed in the extended services will be additional work that must be pre-approved by the town administrator in writing. 4, all other terms and conditions of the agreement and the first extension of agreement for professional consulting services shall remain in full force and effect.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Are we doing are we doing this on the Greenfield one?
No, we did that.
We did
We did it in real time.
Yeah.
Remember?
Oh, you're right, yes, we did.
I move to adjourn, are we good? I move to adjourn.
That's it.
Is that it?
I move to adjourn.
We can talk about it.
I move to adjourn.
Okay, okay. Quick,
All in
Okay.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.